Farmers today are facing rising costs, volatile markets, and extreme weather. The A Better Way to Farm podcast digs into strategies to help you take control of farm inputs and maximize profit so your farm can thrive for generations. Remember to take advantage of our free resources at abetterwaytofarm.com. Now, from America's Heartland, here's your host.
Read the fine print. Hey, welcome to today's episode. We're excited for you to tune into the podcast as we share this week. Rod here at A Better Way to Farm, where we increase yields and improve profits. And I wanted to chat with you a little bit today. We're not going to talk agronomy or nutrients or any of that. I just want to talk about maybe some common sense. You guys know that I spend a lot of time. I read as many magazines as I can read. I read as many subscriptions as I can get on the internet. I get a lot of stuff emailed to me. I seek out other information, always going through it, always looking for that which is relevant and beneficial to you. You know, one of the things that we stand on here is the phrase that everything that happens in agriculture is good for somebody. The question is who? And I want to spend a little bit more time on that today. I want to take a little deeper dive into it because I have been reading a whole bunch right now. And I dare say that of all of the news, and that would be with quotation marks around it, all of the news articles that I'm seeing in the magazines and seeing, especially in the online stuff and the email magazines, the websites that I go to, my goodness, there's a lot of that it's not really news. It's written like a news article. But one of the things that I want to encourage you guys to do is to use your own judgment to sort out and see. Guys, I am 100% in favor of new technology, and I know that things are always changing. I know that what we know today in agriculture is only a thimble compared to what we're going to learn. And the next 10 years, the next 20 years, I firmly believe there's going to be a lot of changes, tremendous changes come out and things that we learn. But in that process of finding those tremendous changes and those things that are good and those things that are beneficial, there's going to be a lot of things come out that maybe are not. I'm reminded of the old adage. I used to tell the girls, in order for you to find a prince, you have to kiss a lot of frogs. My fear is that we're going to see an awful lot of frogs before we get to the point where we're seeing the prince. And as we start looking at that, guys, that can be beneficial if we're paying attention, but it can be harmful if we're not. I just want to encourage you. I read an article today that this person, they saved $12,000 on something because they bought this new technology. But what they didn't say anywhere in the article was they didn't talk about how much the technology cost. And they do the lead in with the saving $12,000, and that's a lot of money, and I'm happy for them. But the question is, what did we spend? I happen to know that technology was significantly more money than that $12,000. Now, I realize that hopefully they can use that technology over and over again, and that they will be able to save that money, multiple years. But then the question becomes, okay, what happens when that piece of equipment that I added that to wears out, and now I have to buy the technology again? And so I'm painfully aware. I spoke with an engineer for one of the major farm equipment manufacturers, who shall remain nameless, but he was talking about the fact that he has set in on meetings, and he knows for a fact their goal is to have every piece of equipment that you buy have some kind of technology on it that you will pay a fee per acre to use. In other words, they're going to figure out on how to go to a subscription model on everything. And guys, I'm not opposed to a subscription if it's of benefit to you. I want to make sure, though, that you're doing the right thing. And as we start reading these articles, and it's everything, it's equipment, it's chemical, it's bugs in a jug, it's fertility, and they always release it as a press release. Hey, we've got this brand new technology that's fantastic and it does this, but they don't say we have it. It's written by a third party, so to speak. It would be as though I was going to introduce a new nutrient product, but instead of me doing a press release and saying I'm introducing this product, I would find a person on my staff who is a very good writer, and they would write a news article And even though they work for me, they would write this as though they were just some newspaper correspondent covering this hot new idea that's going to take care of you and make you seem fantastic. And I'm all for new and I'm all for fantastic. I'm also all for honesty and being upfront and being completely transparent. Yeah, guys, it's no secret. We do market products. We don't talk a lot about it on here because that's not our goal here. Our goal here is to make you think. Our goal here is to teach you to ask questions. Our goal here is to change some ideas and to maybe just get you to think about something different so that you can do a better job of being judicious with the money that you spend. But we do market products. We're very upfront about that. We also, for those people who work with us, we tell them to source a lot of products that we do not have. Why is that? Well, for instance, I know that the lion's share of you listening to this podcast today are not putting on enough sulfur. Probably regardless of how much you're putting on, you're not putting on enough sulfur. I've picked up about 5 or 6 new clients have reached out to us here in the last 3 weeks. I've looked at their soil test and I've talked to them about what they're doing. And they said, what's the one thing that jumps out to you? What is it that you're going to want me to buy from you, Rod? And my answer was the thing that jumps out the most is whatever you've been doing for your sulfur, you need to do at least 50% more. And I'm not going to be the one that sells it to you. Guys, we have got to figure out that we are a team and we need to assemble a team of people who are upright, forthright, and want to work as a team. I believe very much that there is a place for a whole team of people in your operation. I believe that the guy who's selling you dry nutrients should be working with the guy who's selling you liquid starter and micronutrients, and I believe they should be working with the seed man, and the seed man should be working with both of them. Why? Because if we all work together, we all look better. If we all work together, you make more money. If we all do our job, you win. That's what it's really all about. I've got a client up north, and it's interesting because he's had some really great soybean yields. And it's funny because the seed company has come by and they have said, oh man, we really matched that hybrid up. That's why you're having such great luck. It's because we use this hybrid. And he replied, well, my neighbor across the fence is using the same hybrid and he's getting about 25 bushel less to the acre. And by the way, it's the same hybrid that we used the last 3 years. And so we're not thinking that is it. And then someone who sold him some other products came by and go, wow, man, it's this one thing that we sold you. It's this sulfur product that we sold you. That's what's making the difference. To which he responded with, I would never have bought that product if Rod had not have told me to do it. And so all of a sudden he called me and I was like, and this is exactly how it's supposed to work. Because if the seed guy truly does do his job, and if the guy, everybody selling you stuff is doing their job, seeking your best interest, it's going to be the right thing. But any time that any one of us try to take all of the credit, we're out on the thin ice. And it's really a giant red flag. I'm going to do my best, guys, to help you make more money. I'm going to help you to raise your yields. I'm going to help you to cut your cost per bushel. And that's what this is really all about, is cutting that cost per bushel. But I will be more successful in doing that if the seed guy will do his job and match the right numbers. I'll be more successful in doing that if the guy selling you your nitrogen and your sulfur will do the right things and bring you the right products and help you put them on at the right place at the right time at the right rate. All of us have to work together, which leads me back full circle to my little bright idea about these news magazines. Because what's happening there, as we see these articles be written, is it's somebody trying to take full credit, saying this is going to make the difference. This thing right here, this technology, this piece of iron, this nutrient package, this is all you need. This is the silver bullet. Guys, there is no silver bullet. Oh, I wish there was. I would love to invent the silver bullet. If I could invent the silver bullet that would raise everybody's bean yields 40, 50 bushel to the acre, and I could invent the silver bullet that would raise your corn yields 50 to 70 bushels to the acre just by itself, I would be very rich. But the fact of the matter is, top end yields are not achieved by one piece of steel or one nutrient package or one seed. Top-end yields are achieved by attention to detail, by doing everything that you can as well as you can and managing it as perfectly as possible. It's a lot of work. I talked to one of my buddies out in Nebraska, and he was talking about the fact that his soybeans were out yielding. He has a partner in his farming, but they keep things separate. I'm going to try to get him and one of the boys from Minnesota on a call to do a podcast in the near future. But both of these guys are absolutely crushing the competition, being the neighbors, in their soybean yields. And in both instances, the neighbors are saying, well, yeah, but you made 3 trips across that field that I didn't make. You spent more money on nutrients that I didn't spend. You used a little different seed and it cost a little more money than what I did. And the bottom line is we're talking about differences of over 30 bushels to the acre. Guys, even at $9 beans, that's $270 an acre revenue. So if we spend an extra $10 an acre on seed, we spend an extra $30 an acre on nutrients, we allocate $30 an acre for going across the field spraying, that's $70. What happened there? Boom. We just made $200, but not because they had one piece of equipment, not because they had one particular nutrient, not because they had one particular seed, but because they did everything correctly. Guys, if we want to change our lives, we've got to change some things. There's a quote, and I'm not going to get it right, but it said, a few years ago, I thought I was very smart. I was going to change the world. And then all of a sudden, I did a little introspection. And what I decided was I was going to change myself. I'm hearing that phrase that happens every time prices get high and then they go down. And it's everybody saying, not everybody, it's people saying something has got to change in agriculture. And they're right. Absolutely. $3 corn, $9 something soybeans, something has to change in ag. I 100% agree with that. Now, the problem with it is where I'm going to say next is going to ruffle some feathers, because I believe the one thing that has to change in agriculture is me. I believe the one thing that has to change is you. Why? Because we can't control John Deere or Case IH or New Holland. We can't control Pioneer or Monsanto or DeKalb or whoever it is that's getting you your seed. We can't control the fertilizer prices because those raw materials dictate to a large degree what happens, and that's controlled basically by one company, has a lion's share of all of that under their belt. One particular company controls most of the nitrogen, one other company controls most of the phosphorus and the potash. And the fact of the matter is, we got zero control over that. But what can we do? We can change us. We can learn, we can read, we can study, we can use discernment, because I promise you, I read thousands of pages a year, thousands and thousands of pages a year, but I don't bring it all to you because I have to figure out to discern which part is fluff and which part is real. And the fact of the matter is, guys, all of us need to become consumers of knowledge to the best of our ability. And we need to be figuring out how to sort through that which is true and that which isn't true. And I just want you, as you sit down and start reading articles here, the harvest is going to slow down. Your pace of life will get a little better here in the next 30 days, 45 days. And you'll start reading those farm magazines that have stacked up. And you'll start reading those emails that you've been ignoring for the last 30 days, the last 60 days. And they're going to have all kinds of news, in quotation marks, articles in them. And I want you to go down at the end, before you even read it, go see if it tells you about the author. If the author is Joe Blow, who's been doing studying and working forever and ever, and this is his deal, is he's just a researcher, that's fine. But then I still want to know, who does he research for? There are some very fine agronomists out there who do work very hard, but they are funded by someone, and that gives them an agenda. Guys, it's no secret. I have an agenda too. I would like you to use our stuff, but I would like it to be a fit. And when you call us, it's okay to say, hey, Rod, why? Why do I want to do this? Why do I want to pull that soil test this way? Why do I want to use your micronutrients? Why do I want to row apply? Why do I want to foliar feed? Why am I going to do all of these things? Because if a person won't tell you why you should do it, then the why that they want you to do it for is for the commission. And that, my friend, is not right. And when you read these articles, and you can't figure out the who and who the who's working for, now all of a sudden we have to be suspicious. Guys, there's nothing in this today about agronomy, so to speak. I get that. But I just read a bunch of stuff early this morning, and I was like, man, every one of these articles, and I read 5, every one of these articles that I read was written by someone who works for the company that sells the product that they're talking about. And they were all written third party. It wasn't saying this is what we have done, this isn't what we want you to do. It was all written third party, like it was really super objective, but it wasn't objective. It was 100% biased, 100% wanting you to buy their stuff, and 100% zero data behind it. Guys, as we launch off into 2025, it's going to be interesting. And there are people are looking, and I know that because people are reaching out to us like never before. People that we talked to 3 years ago that decided not to go with us then are calling us up and saying, it's time. We're ready to go. We want to work with you. People who have been listening to us but haven't reached out for 2, 3, 4, 5 years are calling up and saying, it's time. It's time for us to work with you. We're ready to go. And I know that people are looking. I just want to encourage you, as you look, be judicious. Guys, use your judgment wisely. One of the things I love about what we do is the fact that we do provide that fundamentals of agronomy where we come in and we don't talk products, we talk science. We talk about why you want to use certain kinds of micronutrients. Why do you want to use certain kinds of phosphate? How do you want to place all of this? What is the most cost effective? And we get down to all of the facts and the science before we get into talking about the products. So I hope you found some value in this. Guys, we appreciate you listeners so much. We really do enjoy talking to you. We appreciate your time. We look forward to working with you, and we really do hope you're having a better day.